Okay. Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm here with my buddy Thriller from Thriller Podcast. What up, bro? Tell everybody who you are, what you're from, what you do, and where to find you.
Well, people call me Thriller Car, but I feel like at this point it's just Car. It was funny because like when I first started out, I was everybody was like, "What's your name going to be? It's going to be Crypto Bobby or Crypto or Crypto whoever." And I was just like, "No, I'm original, just like Ken. I'm gonna go Thriller Car because it's a thrill
Nice.
ride. It's a
It
thrill
is.
ride. We're
This
on a
is
roller coaster every day.
no hands,
That's why it's
mom.
called Thriller. That's why it's called Thriller Podcast."
I like it, dude. Yeah, it definitely is thrilling to be involved in this industry for sure, especially if you put a little finance in it and you're not just spectating. Maybe tell a little people about how you got into Bitcoin and, a little bit about what you do with your podcast, Thriller Podcast.
Yeah, so for the most part, it's honestly the only millennial podcast that's out there. There's no one else doing podcasts like Throw Podcast, and that's just the truth. Like, I'm not even bragging or anything. It's just the truth. If you look at it, no, seriously, Ken, like, if you look at it, like, you have other podcasts that are crypto podcasts, but all they're doing are catering to like 40, 50-year-old men. But like,
Mm-hmm.
no one's catering to anybody in their 20s or 30s. Like, it's just all the 40 or 50-year-old men listening to these podcasts, and that's cool, but I want a podcast that I can listen to. So that's what we do. We try to cover the history of Bitcoin. We try to cover all the coins as much as we can, and we just do our best. Like every single day, we do a show 5 days a week. You guys should check it out. It's Thriller Podcast. It's everywhere.
There's a
Just
link
Google it.
in the description box below. Check out
Yeah.
his Twitter account, and I'm sure you can find tons of information there to find out the rest. There will be more links later on after the live stream. I have to update that. Why don't you talk about a little bit about how we met? Because I'm rocking the shirt right here, right now. Crypto
Oh
Summit
yeah.
at South by Southwest, sponsored by Crypto Friends. That was an awesome conference, man, and I'm so
Oh
happy
yeah,
I
dude.
met you there, dude. So let everybody
Hell
know a little
yeah.
bit about your takeaway of that conference.
Well, I'm from Austin, and there was a crypto summit coming up, and I was already doing a show, and I was like, you know what, I should probably go to this, right? So I went on a lark and got tickets, went there. There's this guy, his 360 camera, and I was like, who's this dude? He looks like Gandalf, like with a blunt, and I'm like, who's this guy? And sure enough, he was probably the coolest dude there, and I was like, hmm. And it was weird because when I was first there, I was really quiet and I didn't know anybody. And then I think Jeremy went on stage and was asking questions, and I like asked him a question, and I told him who I was, and then everybody after the show came up to me and wanted to be interviewed, and then that's how I met you, Ken. You came up to me, you're like, hey, what's your name? And I was like, it's Car, and then you're like, oh, that's awesome, and we just hung out pretty much the whole time.
Right,
I was
right
just
on.
following you. I was just following you around, and dude, fucking like. A lot of y'all don't know this, but Ken's a fucking cool fucking dude. Like, he's not just a guy that you see on YouTube. He's the same guy in real life. And I think a lot of people, I don't know what they say about you, but I know a lot of people probably think, oh, all these YouTubers are just one way in front of. No, Ken is he's one of those dudes that you meet and you're just like, this guy's going somewhere, and I need to hang on to his pant leg and go with
I
him.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, dude, it was funny because at that conference we were at, there was an after party, and I had to
Yeah.
sneak in the founder of Edge, Paul, through the fire escape into this after party. And like, I'm just sitting there, I'm rolling a blunt in the fire escape trying to get high. And like, I'm looking on Facebook or Twitter, and I'm seeing the founder of Edge is having a hard time getting into this after party I'm already in. So I was like, oh, we got to make this happen, Captain. So I pop open the fire escape. I pry open all the doors. I tell them in Twitter to come on around. And like, dude, it was just such a good time. Like, I love the fact that like, I'm kind of like the rebellious guy in a professional environment because it's all these traditional investors and founders of projects and all these suits and ties, and then you have me rolling a blunt in the fucking fire escape, sneaking founders into after parties.
Dude, you're fucking crazy, man. I was so scared for you. Like, I was just so fucking scared for you because, like, I don't know. Was that your first time in Texas or no?
No, thank you. Shout out to
Oh,
Boss Lady because she's in the chat.
okay.
So hi, Summer. Thanks to
Oh, hey,
Summer.
Summer.
Summer Sherwood. It's me, Boss Lady. Thanks to her, I got to visit Texas multiple times for cryptocurrency
Okay,
conferences,
cool. I
and
was
every
so
time it's
scared.
thanks to the decentralized art shows. The decentralized art shows are always off the hook,
Yeah.
and I love to be a part of it. It's just so much fun.
It was funny because I was just like so scared for you. I was like, dude, the cops are fucking crazy here. Like they're fucking crazy. That's why I was worried. I was so worried for you, man. Like so worried. And then yeah, it was funny because Summer turns out like one of the people there that was doing art at the show was my coworker's like roommate. I was like, oh shit. And that was just a small world. So I feel like we were all supposed to meet in a weird way.
Definitely, dude.
So
It's crypto
yeah.
destiny, man.
Yeah, it is. It was Crypto Destiny, definitely. Yeah,
So you
but
looking at
yeah,
any other conferences coming up or anything like that? What's on your
yeah,
plans
dude.
for this rest of the year?
So I got invited to the London show this week, the Blockchain Expo in London. Wasn't able to make it because, life. And then the next one that's coming up is here in Amsterdam, and I'm going to be headed to that one. That's why I want you to go with me, Ken. You got to come to Amsterdam with me.
Yeah, no,
You
we got to
got
make that
to.
happen. We got to make that happen for sure.
Gosh,
I can
dude, that would
book
be
my
so
flight with
much
cheap
fun.
air. I can use Dash or Bitcoin, so it's not like I have any excuses not to fly out. And I'm sure we could find a place to crash with crypto in
Dude, there's
Amsterdam.
there's hostels there, whatever. We could just cover the show. Like it would be badass.
I,
And
I
then
know
and then
if I go to Amsterdam though, there's a good chance I might not come back. But where are you going after that?
And then after that's probably true. And then after that, I'm trying to because there's a big conference here at the end of the year in Dallas. It's like a blockchain super conference or whatever they're calling it, and I'm trying to get them to let me speak there because I feel like there's no one representing millennials right now. They're all just a bunch of old dudes, and no one's going in front of the like people, and no one's talking to these old dudes and telling them like, "Hey, we're the future. Get the fuck out of the way." Like, you know what I mean?
No, you're
So
right.
I
It's
don't know, man.
everybody. All these things are catering to the traditional investors and not the new investors.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I want to go to this conference and like drop some knowledge on them because I have a whole presentation about how millennials are going to change this whole space and how a lot of people here in Austin are starting their own blockchain companies. And you remember the party, Ken, where we met like all these young kids like 20, 22, 23, like super smart guys like from graduated from Stanford. I can't tell you how many smart young individuals I met at the crypto conference, and they wanted to come on the show, and they were like, "Yeah, we're starting a blockchain. Like we're starting a
Yep.
blockchain project." So many people, and I think there's no one out there like talking for them, and I feel like I need to go out there and like spread the goodness. So
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. Hopefully you can come out to the one in Las Vegas, World CryptoCon, the end of October, the beginning of November, my birthday. I will be in Las Vegas at World CryptoCon, so I'll try to
dude, I
come to
will go.
Amsterdam if you try to come to Vegas.
Dude, I will go to Vegas for sure, whether you come to Amsterdam or not.
It is a
No,
good
but
time,
no,
man. I've been there before
I
too.
wanna,
Actually,
I
me
wanna
and
go.
it's me, Boss Lady. Actually, we took over a little bit of Vegas at one point, and it's pretty cool to see that Bitcoin is actually everywhere in Las Vegas. They have Bitcoin ATM machines, businesses that accept Bitcoin, Bitcoin advertisements. It's everywhere. Even a
Dude,
strip club accepts Bitcoin there.
digital money. That's
It's
awesome.
just money, right? Like, why wouldn't you accept money? It's like not
Yeah.
accepting Visa at some point. Like, why not? You're losing customers if you don't accept currencies.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, I want to go to that for sure. That's gonna be awesome.
What do you think of these recent events with what's going on with Coinbase acquiring like Cipher Browser, Earn.com, and they're even I
Dude,
think they just hired somebody from super high up Wolf of Wall Street style kind of guy, and they just hired him from the traditional like stock sector, and they on ramped him into their business as a CFO, something like that. So Coinbase is gobbling up all of these things and trying to become like a Google of crypto. What are your thoughts on that?
dude, we've covered Coinbase so many times on the show. In the very beginning of the show, we used to promote them heavily, but I've over that time, they've just, like you said, they turned into a totally different company. They started moving over all these people from Wall Street into their company, and now I just feel like they're. In the beginning, like it felt like almost like they were going in two different directions. Like I felt like they were trying to be something like this, and then all of a sudden they switched past and kind of
Right.
pivoted this way. And right now, I feel like you said, they're trying to be this next big conglomerate in the space.
Yeah, they're
And I'm
becoming
not,
the
yeah,
banks of crypto, like the type of bank we wanted to get away from, but now in our cryptocurrency industry, they are the Wells Fargo of Bitcoin. And we need to
it's
stop
scary.
that. We need to end it. And that $10 referral program shit needs to come to an end, because that's really what it comes down to. We say, hey, because it's easiest. It is the easiest way to get in. And even local Bitcoins is asking people to go through KYC now. So even that's not any easier. So we say, hey, go to Coinbase. And then that person that we sent there, they're now incentivized to
It
tell
gets
their friends
screwed.
because, $10, send in $10, whatever. I keep making all these referral program money. And now we're basically building the monopoly around Coinbase for them. And it needs to stop. If somebody asks you how to buy Bitcoin, just sell it to them. Do them a favor. Be like, hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. Fuck
Yeah.
Coinbase.
No, you're right, dude. I feel like it's just a never-ending cycle.
What do you
It
think they're
sucks,
going to do
but
with Earn.com? Because that shit's dope, dude. I love Earn.com.
I haven't looked at what they actually. What does Earn.com even do? Is it just like
you
a
get
finance?
paid. Yeah, you get paid to reply to emails, basically, or answer messages to people, or perform a task. So, as a content creator, I haven't done this yet, but I will be doing it about once a week. I'm going to go to Earn.com. I'm going to check out a thing where somebody has said, "Hey, I need this token reviewed. Here's the amount you will earn," and then I'll do it, and then I'll earn it from Earn.com, and it'll basically be like a Craigslist sort of for performing tasks in the industry, or just answer messages. Like if you wanted to talk to one of the Winklevoss twins for $20, you can send them a message, and if they reply to you, they get the money because they've earned it by replying to your message. So it's pretty cool. Or you can ask somebody to review a token, or will somebody do me a favor and review my podcast, let me know how I'm doing, and maybe rate it, and then people will do
Yeah.
it. So it's pretty cool. I like Earn.com. It's interesting to see Coinbase buying it. And another thing is cool is they bought up, I think, Cypher Browser, which is pretty cool because they're using it to build up Toshi. Do you know what Toshi is?
Yeah, that app, right?
Yeah, Toshi is the Ethereum browser. It browses the Ethereum blockchain, and if you use the app, you actually get to interact with the dApps, decentralized applications on the Ethereum blockchain, like CryptoKitties or Decentraland or Etherbots or whatever, Ethermon. It's pretty funny. They have Ethereum Pokemon type thing.
That's pretty
But
cool.
yeah, it is pretty cool. But like they're building themselves up to be that Google, where they are a search engine, they are the exchange. There's a messaging service built into Toshi even, so you can do the emails and and direct messages, and they're really building that footing for becoming the monopoly that we don't want to see, and it kind of worries me.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of Coinbase. I've made so many podcasts to not use them at this point. I felt like I've done all I could. So I try to steer people away from them just because so many people have gotten ripped off from them. And yeah, get your money out of Coinbase. Use
Oh my
Abra.
God!
Use something
Somebody
like Square.
asked if you think that XRP could run again, and it might continue a bit longer with their Apple hookup. Is that really what Ripple said?
Dude,
They partnered with. Fuck
so
that.
that's not that what everybody's talking about with the whole Apple thing. That's not true. Like most people don't know technology, and that's the part that we try to explain on their podcast. Is that whole thing that they're talking about that they made, they actually didn't make it. So whenever there's something new that's getting brought out into the industry, like let's take for example like IPv4, like protocol, right? So whenever something gets voted by all these big companies around, like Cisco, for example, whenever something gets voted, they have to get a unanimous vote all the way around, and that only comes from consensus. And then they introduce the protocol. Yes, Cisco made it, but that doesn't mean that okay, just because they made it, that everybody's using Cisco stuff. No, they just contributed to everybody. That's all it is. It's just a contribution. That's it. And I think
Yeah.
people are saying that that's a partnership, but it's not. It's a contribution.
Right, exactly. Total difference. And the only way XRP will ever get back to an all-time high is if it is added to Coinbase, and then it will crash again because people are going to want to take their money back from the money they lost when they bought it at $3.74. So,
I will say though, like we got in, like I told everybody like last year when I was covering XRP when it was at 15 cents. I told everybody, I was like, there's this coin, it's backed by central bankers. You know, you guys know the type of world that we live in. Like everybody knows like what's up, right? So if you're a betting man, who do you think's going to win this thing?
Right.
Now,
So
I can tell you who I'm going for, right? So I told everybody at the time, I was like, if you're a petty man, who do you think's going to win? So I said, I'm going to buy a nice stack of Ripple. As soon as I can sell it, I'm going to sell it and put that money into like Stellar or something. You know what I mean?
right.
And so a lot of people did that and they made a lot of money, and that's good for them. But right now, of course, it's going to get back to $3. It's gonna have to. I even see it getting as high as $10 this year. I'm not. I know, Ken. I mean, you're probably thinking like, there's no fucking. No,
No, it
seriously,
could.
dude,
It's
will.
going to be
It will.
dumb money, though. I would not
Yeah,
recommend it.
no, most definitely, most definitely, it
Because
will be
what will
dumb money.
happen is it's centralized. They can control the supply and they
Exactly.
can manipulate the value because they can manipulate the supply. So if you think it will stay at $10, yeah, good
And
luck.
then and then David Schwartz is the chief cryptographer for Ripple that most people don't know
Dude,
about.
Ripple founders were
And
getting ready to sell at $2, dude. Don't even. They were ready to
and
dump all of it at $2. They were beyond excited.
and so what's interesting about that guy is we've dissected his questions on the show. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I'm actually in the tech industry here in Austin, so I kind of know a thing or two about how networks are built. So when David Schwartz was talking about scaling, and I don't remember exactly what he said, so I'm just kind of like making it up on the fly exactly what he said. But go back and listen to the podcast that we did for it. It was a Ripple episode, Ripple versus Stellar, I think, and he says something about scaling and how they're trying to take a horizontal approach to scaling with these nodes that they're building, and he wants to build this out with their own nodes. And then he said, literally, he said, we'll worry about decentralization later. And that right there is like, okay, you just answered my question for me. Like, I don't. That's cool.
Peace.
So when people say that it's not it's decentralized, it's not. Yes. There's servers here, there's servers there. Yes, it's decentralized in a network per se, but that's still a hub and spoke network. But most people don't even know what that means. But that basically means central hub, spokes, hub and spoke. Anyway,
So
yeah.
yeah, let me see. I think we had another question here. Somebody was asking about. Oh nope, the comments answered. Cool. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
basically they were saying, do ICO holders, they probably have no say in where the raised money is spent. Am I right? And yes, you are right. If you contribute to an ICO, you have no rights to what they do with the money. They could buy Lambos or they could burn the money for all you can do about it. And the token that you actually purchase through the ICO, there is no promise to that for them to make that token of value increase ever. There's no guarantee, there's no promise, there's no nothing. You're basically getting one of those really cool receipts that's like, thanks for donating to our charity, and it's a collectible receipt. It has a limited edition receipt, and maybe somebody some down the line will buy that receipt from you if they use that in the technology that they raise the money to actually design. Sometimes ICOs will use a token to raise money that they actually intentionally never intend to use the token, just the funds the tokens raised. And they design something totally separate with that money, and you're stuck holding something that has no value because it has no use case because it was never intended to. So just be careful. What are your thoughts on ICOs right now, man? Like the SEC is subpoenaing and ceasing and assisting, and they're just going ham right now in America on ICOs. What do you think's going to happen this year?
I think they're changing the language. And we were at the crypto summit. I think when the SEC started coming out with all that stuff, I think a week later you could tell everybody's language changed at the crypto summit. They were pitching ICOs, but they're calling them, what are they, security tokens? I think is what they were
Yeah,
calling
they were
them.
being very upfront with what their coins were considered. It was funny.
Yeah.
And every time I would ask, how do you intend on making your coin value increase over time? What use case? They all say, well, we can't legally say that. And I'm like, oh. Like,
Yeah,
alright.
so I think it's going to continue that way. I think eventually they're just going to kick out all these people, and it's going to move people to Japan. It's going to move them to the Philippines. It's
Right.
going to move them elsewhere, and it's just dumb.
We're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of smart people, man.
Exactly.
Well, that's what's
Yeah.
happening in India because the banks aren't dealing with cryptocurrencies now. And if you wanted to be a business that works in crypto, it's like, all right, well, fine, I'll just leave India. I'll go somewhere else. And that's what's happening with Kraken. Japan costs too much. They're leaving Japan and moving somewhere. I can't remember where right now. And it's happening all over. Binance just moved to Malta. Exchanges are moving left and right to find cheaper places and more crypto friendly places, and that's taking the wealth with them, and it's taking the brain tanks, like these giant think tanks and nerds that are designing like cryptocurrencies and all these blockchain developers. They're leaving our country, bro. They're taking all that money and all that mind power with them. It's definitely going to create a paradigm shift for sure, especially considering that Korea is very big in crypto, and recently they have announced that they have actually mined their way out of deficit. They're now net positive as a nation thanks to cryptocurrencies. Kim Jong-un said he feels comfortable now more than ever in his position in the world because of cryptocurrencies. That's a big, big statement coming from what we would consider a third world nation.
Yeah. Dude, I think the more that blockchain influences the entire world, the better. And I love the fact that it's just breaking up all these conglomerates, and these banks are getting scared. And apparently, did you see that the Swiss banks are they going to be the most threatened out of all this? Apparently?
Yeah, because that's their business model, right? Money laundering, bro. That's their fucking business model. Now I can do that with Edge Wallet. I just put in a username, a password, back up my private key, and guess what, guys? I can launder money anywhere.
That's crazy, man.
And it's safer than using a Swiss bank account, because not even the government can subpoena Edge Wallet or Ledger or Trezor or KeepKey to get my money from them. It's my money. I guess they could waterboard me, but hopefully the Geneva Convention holds through the whole blockchain adoption.
Yeah, dude, I always tell people, like, there's going to be that time, if it ever gets really bad where they start, like, banning crypto all over the world. Like, I'm literally going to memorize my whole private key, dude. I'm just going to be like...
I did that.
Oh, you did that?
For That's one smart. Of my wallets somewhere. I have a Ledger.
You memorized
wallet. Awesome. Yeah, I memorized the words, and I kind of did it over time. I would write them down and rip it up, write them down, rip it up. I'd try to make sentences.
Dude, that's so smart.
And it's only one of my wallets, but if there was like an EMP or whatever and we had to start over, I'm like, at least I still know my private keys. I don't know what the smart people are going to do, but I know these nerds will rebuild Bitcoin. I just have to remember these words.
That's awesome. See, I was thinking like, okay, cool. I'll just go across borders, and I'll have my I have my private key in my head, and I can just continue living. That's awesome. Like that's the great freedom.
Every time I fly, I have a hoodie that says, it's right here. It says, "Ask me about Bitcoin," and the TSA always asks.
That's awesome.
And I tell them, hey, you know how people launder money and all that? And the TSA, that's like, I'm relating to something they know. So it's pretty funny, like, when you're talking about it. I'm like, if people wear jewelry and the jewelry's worth too much money, they have to claim it in customs, or if they have cash in their luggage, they have to claim it, or they're in trouble if it's too much. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, I got a couple words in my brain that are worth more than 6 figures. What you gonna do about it?
Dude, that's the best.
And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. And I can easily convert it to cash. Like, you can convert a necklace that's worth $100,000 when you land in another country and launder money with a necklace. I sell the necklace for cash, right? I sell the Bitcoin for cash. Now I laundered $100,000 on your airplane, and I made it through TSA with no problems.
That's awesome.
And TSA gets it. They're like, wait, like, I'm like, well, why do you think art is so valuable? And they're like, well, we know what's up with art. We're the TSA, like, duh. And I'm like, well, duh, like, this technology is, and they're like, damn, it's just one of many use cases, and it's not the best use case, but it's a use case.
It's definitely the biggest use case that most people don't even know about. I feel like we should just keep that quiet between all of us.
No, the government needs to know that the word money laundering hasn't always existed. Banks created that word to have a reason to exist. Like most things are regulated to keep things in existence, even though they are very obsolete in this day and age.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
So obsolete, man. We could create smart contracts to replace half of our government overnight if regulations weren't hindering the advancements of this technology. If they really wanted to better humanity, it would just put so many people out of jobs. It's not cost effective to better humanity. So we have to do it inch by inch until people can get ready for each and every advancement. Unfortunately, I could even see local police being put out of business with things like, Periscope and Facebook and stuff, where my next door neighbor could be a certified, local officer. And, if I have a problem, I could always hit up hashtag this. It's just as fast as dialing 911, and my neighbor can come save the day instead of waiting, an average of 10 minutes for local police response.
Yeah, most definitely, dude. I'm trying to get more people to come to this live thing. I'm hitting them up right now on Telegram and our
Hey
Discord.
guys, if you're watching this live, and even if you're not watching it live, share it and invite your friends. If you have any comments or questions or topics you want to talk about, let us know. I'm going to switch on over here to the other scene. Check that sweet transition out, everybody. So we have some topics up here from Cointelegraph.com. SAXO Bank, Sazo, I guess, right? Bank. Cryptocurrencies could see springboard bull market in Q2 2018. Yeah, you're just now saying what we have all been saying since like December. we all were like, yeah, we know what's gonna happen after tax season, and now they're like, yeah, we could see springboard after tax season. Yeah, all right, cool.
Dude, don't you think it's hilarious how, like, I was talking about this on yesterday's podcast, like how all these people on CNBC, right? They're like in their 70s or whatever, 60s, whatever, and they're basically saying like the bulls are coming, the bulls are coming, and I played a little clip of it. And I'm like, yeah, dude, because every April it slowly climbs up, and then May has a spike, and then June we have a little dip, and then it goes back up.
You can look like, the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, dude, and it's like they're making it seem like it's happening real time, and that they're actually knowledgeable on the subject, and I don't get it. Like, I don't.
They were discredited when they told people to buy Ripple at $3.50 and sell it at 70 cents. Man, they lost the media lost so much credibility, dude.
They pumped the shit out of Ripple like.
Could you imagine if BitConnect came out today with the media's attention the way it is? They would be calling that a great idea. Like, I know they would. The media doesn't know what they're talking about, so they would be hyping you see a BitConnect referral link from Fox News, in the bottom of their news channel right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. You go to Fox News and look up Bitcoin. There's a referral link to Coinbase. They ain't missing out on all these opportunities. They get some from all that. They got affiliates and referrals, and they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know what they're talking about because they're not techies. And this technology is so early, nobody knows what they're talking about, to be honest. It's all pure speculation. And even the technical analysis in it is just, professional guessing at best. Your TA cannot predict FUD coming out of,
That's why
Japan.
That's why I always say, like, you have to look at the technology. Like, you have to look at the technology. If you're not looking at the technology and you're not thinking ahead, like what can actually be done, and then you're not looking at the talent, like, that's another thing too. But yeah, people don't listen. They just want to pump coin.
They got a hedge fund here, Pantera. CEO, he says Bitcoin highly likely to go past 20K high within a year. Interesting. Okay. It's going to recover. It went to $20,000 in December for absolutely no reason at all whatsoever. It was completely unnecessarily overvalued. It was obviously overvalued. There was nothing that even really caused the dip other than the fact that people obviously had to take profits. If you did not take profits, if you were in Bitcoin for longer than a year in December and did not take profits, you were insane. So, I mean, people did the obvious thing and took profits when something goes up 3,000%. And there was nothing really behind it. Now, look at Bitcoin. You got Coinbase Custody designing a way for institutional capital to roll in at $1 million minimum per investment, and it costs 6 figures just to sign the contract, and that's not an investment. That's money spent. That's money earned on Coinbase's end from institutional capital. We have Goldman Sachs acquiring Poloniex for $400 million. We have this money rolling in, and they're trying their best to take over, but what I see happening is exchanges buying banks. I do not see banks buying exchanges when this really comes to a full mass adoption situation. Definitely likely to go past 20K. I think it's going to be the institutional capital. I think it's going to be a lot of that, who was it recently that just said that their family's money was rolling into this? The Rothschilds and some other people?
Oh, the Rothschilds. Dude, that was one of those things where I was just like, No, their money has always been.
Yeah.
I was, I was like, this is just them trying to pump the coin, obviously.
Yeah, they were like, all right, we saw the bottom at 6.5. We bought
Yeah,
enough of it. If we buy any more, we'll
yeah,
manipulate the price and we'll only be buying at a premium because
exactly.
of ourselves.
Because
Like,
they're sharks, dude. They're
dude,
sharks. They're not gonna. They're
they're
not gonna get in
actually
at
whale
that all-time
sharks.
high. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
This is one of my
And
favorite
they
articles right here, man.
yeah.
I wanted to get to this one real quick. Bitcoin headed for 100,000 or $100. CEOs, big investors, and Harvard economist predicts. And yeah, so talk about having one foot in, one foot out, trying to keep your fucking face in both directions. Like this is like the biggest
Oh, you know what?
bullshit
You're
thing to say
exactly right.
ever. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it could either be right or it could either be wrong. Haha. And then at the end, he's gonna be like, "I told you so. I'm a fucking economic genius, bruh."
Yeah, that's why like on Thriller podcast, dude, I literally have a disclaimer that says this is a shill disclaimer. Do not believe anything I say. I do not know what the fuck I'm talking about. I literally
This
am
tells
telling
people
you.
not to listen to me, and if they do
And
listen
I,
to me,
yeah,
I'm gonna use this in
exactly.
the court of law. Like, Your
Yeah.
Honor, I was smoking weed and clearly getting high.
Such a-
I was obviously under the influence
That's
of
awesome.
marijuana, and it's obvious
You
they
know,
should
and
have
that
never
would
listened
work
to me.
too. That literally would work,
Dude, a
honestly.
judge would look at my YouTube videos and be like, "You took that guy's advice?" I'm not saying take my advice. I'm just saying check out the shit I'm checking out and check it out for yourself. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
come and listen to everybody. Like, don't just listen to me. Go out and listen to everybody else. Go out and listen to whoever, and then come up with your own opinion. And then there you go. Do what you're gonna do.
Yeah, definitely come
But
up with your own opinion. You have to listen to the positive, the negative, the right and the wrong to make up your own decision. And even you
exactly,
probably won't be right. Probably not. But at least it
exactly,
was your decision and you didn't do anything on somebody else's mind. You know, like you won't have any
exactly.
regrets if you do it on your own.
Now, and I'll tell them too. I was like, every once in a while, there's like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, we know a coin is gonna pump. Just like we saw Verge, happen, and we all knew that was
I
gonna
did not
go.
see back coming, did you?
No, dude, I did
That
not see
was
back coming.
insane, dude. I mean
Like right now,
that's just
yeah.
so insane.
Like right now, Cardano is gonna pump. It's gonna pump until Shelly's released. Like that's an easy call. Anybody can see that. Like there's definitely easy calls out there that anybody can see if they follow the space. But there's some other ones that people just aren't paying attention to. And like I always say, like I just gather information, I present it to you in a nice, chewable way. That's it. That's all I do. And I throw my 2 cents, and literally it doesn't mean anything. So you should go out and listen to everybody else. Listen to Ken. Ken knows what he's talking about. Right, Ken?
Yeah, Kevin just said my favorite video from Ken is when he said I'm never gonna see 5K Bitcoin again, and that fucking sucks. And it does suck. It sucks, dude. Like that really does suck because I'm not rich. I don't make any money anymore. I'm really just like living off my portfolio at this point and trying to trade to make more to live off of. But
Nice.
yeah, if I ever see 5K Bitcoin again, I will probably have to sell my car, my TV, my Xbox, my soul
Yeah.
to buy more Bitcoin. And then I'll buy it all back tenfold next year. Definitely. I'll just buy 2 souls if I have to make up for it. So we
Yeah.
have two predictions here. This is what they're saying may happen. Institutional investors' money will increase Bitcoin's price. And this is coming from the CEO of American Express and stuff like that. The CEO of American Express backed startup Abra. I love how articles name drop in that subtle way. The CEO of Abra, no. The CEO of American Express backed startup Abra. Yeah, you see how he did that? You see how that's fucking slick. But yeah, so
I
they
always
predicted.
I always like how those VCs always take credit for the stuff that they invest in. It's like what's his name? What's the guy who invested in Tesla and who invested in SpaceX? It's like, duh, why wouldn't you invest in that? Like,
Right, dude. I
don't
wish
know
I
why
was
they take
of
credit
my
for that
age
shit.
and mindset when Netflix came out because I would have been all in on that, man. Netflix
That's
and
like,
Uber. Like people said, "Oh, I wish I would have invested in Uber," and I'm like, "No, you don't have the
you don't
mindset.
have
You could never picture that technology. You could never see you would never. If you could go back in time, you still wouldn't. You'd be looking at football games that you could remember the winners to before you would invest in Uber, because you don't have that in you. But if I was even looking at things to invest in and I came across Uber, I already know. Obviously, I went all in on Bitcoin when it was at like $400, and I was only a day into knowing what it was.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. Because it's funny. It's like me saying, "Oh, I invested in Stellar at 3 cents, so now it's like whatever $10. There you go. I know. Look, that's why you should listen to me." No, it's like, dude, it's like, of course, just do your own thing, man. I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
Ken, is it true you don't have a bank account? I actually do have a bank account for direct deposits, only because I have talked to Simple, and Simple told me that they'll always allow cryptocurrency transactions, buys and sells. At least up till right now, they will. They said that they don't have any problems with it. So in case of getting cash in and out and stuff like that, I have a bank account with a bank that has confirmed with me on a personal peer-to-peer level through emails that they will not freeze my assets. And no other bank that I know of would do that and confirm that they wouldn't freeze my assets if I had Bitcoin sold or Bitcoin bought with that account. So for that reason, I do use Simple. But no, I really like to use Uphold, BitPay, and at the time I honestly do still use Coinbase, but that is because I'm desperately waiting for more competition to come out so I can find something else, because I use nothing but crypto. I'm kind of at the whim of Coinbase because of that. They built a monopoly around themselves. I try to use BitPay. I try to use Uphold. Other things, local Bitcoins, Liberty X, stuff like that, to kind of get in and out of cryptocurrencies. But I'm trying to get rid of the bank account altogether, because you can get direct deposit through Uphold and get paid in Dash directly. So I am in the middle of making a video on how to get my direct deposit, where I get paid in cash through somewhere for some reason, and that direct deposit goes to Uphold and immediately isn't converted into Dash. That way I'm, all in on crypto, no bank account. Even though I have direct deposit, I still end up holding a cryptocurrency in the end. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
I can't wait till, I think, how we had this year was all about, last year was all about ICOs, right? So this year's has been about what, for the most part? What do you think this year has been about so far?
Well, regulations, really. I mean, that's what people are talking about, regulations. Actually, if you want to center yourself a little bit, camera's off.
Let me go, though.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
You got like half your face on the other side. There you go.
Right
Perfect.
there?
Yep, perfect.
Right there? Okay,
so,
cool.
yeah, what were we saying?
No, I was going to say, if last year ICOs were the big thing, right? This year, what would you say is the big thing?
Oh, I would like to say staking.
But,
if it's in that sense.
Like, what's everybody talking about this year? Like in like regulations, like you said, right? SEC regulations.
Right.
Everybody's waiting for the other shoe to drop. I think next year is going to be about banks, about crypto banks.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, you're right. It's kind of in the background talk right now what's happening, because we got Cydia and other banks that are now officially announcing they will not do business with cryptocurrencies and stuff like that, and exchanges. Wire transfers will no longer be accepted.
Too, like you have somebody like Jihan Wu building out his own bank. You also have
Abra,
Token Pay.
dude. Abra is an awesome thing as a bank. Like, that is my go-to bank of choice right now.
Yeah, and then you also have like Token Pay. They're gonna build out some kind of bank. They said that they bought a bank in Germany or whatever.
Token Pay, I gotta look into them.
So there's all these small little puzzle pieces like getting moved in this banking space, like this crypto bank. Dude, I can see that being the next big fucking thing next year. Watch. Everybody's gonna have their own fucking bank.
Oh, we already, yeah, definitely. But here's the thing, though: we don't really need them if we are our own banks. So, is it really worthwhile?
But I'm saying like because you're gonna need some kind of like converting service. Because I hate to say this, but like the world is gonna move a lot slower than we'd like it to. So like we're gonna have to convert something or whatever.
What are your thoughts on
I think
PayPal
Appra's
right
ahead
now?
of the game. PayPal? What do you mean?
Well, they're
Like
they're
as
they're
a,
they're canceling accounts that aren't verified. If you don't go through the KYC process, they're freezing your assets, they're canceling your cards, your accounts, they're closing them down unless you KYC up, and they're kind of patenting tech around the
wait, did you
industry and
just lose
stuff.
connection, or did I?
I'm still here.
There,
Hello?
hear me?
Yeah, boy.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened. It was a blip.
Nah,
You know
yeah,
what happened? But yeah, right there, diving into our conversation.
yeah, there they
Probably
go. They're
that.
tapping in. But what do you think though about PayPal going and doing that stuff? And it's kind of
What are they
I
doing?
love that. They're canceling accounts because people aren't going through KYC and they're kind of going for patents and stuff like that.
It
What
sounds like they're trying to go out of business. That's what it
Yeah,
sounds like to me.
exactly. They're trying to go out of business. I love
That's
it.
so
Like, all
stupid.
right, the customers that were using PayPal without KYC were using it for a fucking reason, buddy. And if you're gonna make sure that they don't have a place to, if you're not giving them a reason to use your shit, they're telling them to go somewhere else. All right, guys, what you need to do is download the Edge wallet or Abra, and you can go ahead and get yourself some cryptocurrencies and use that, and you don't have to go through any KYC, and we're done.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, the only reason I use PayPal right now, the only reason is because SoundCloud. My podcast's on SoundCloud. That's the only reason. If they weren't, then I
SoundCloud
wouldn't
doesn't
be
accept
using.
crypto?
So it's funny, like they won't. They'll cancel my podcast. Like it'll go dark if for me to switch over to like something else.
But they would accept crypto, right? They would just have to go through a switch.
No, no, no. So SoundCloud only accepts like fiat or like credit
Oh,
cards or whatever. But
bummer.
they won't. Like right now, it's stuck in a PayPal thing, and I can't get it out. So they have me hostage. Anyway, PayPal sucks though.
Yeah, I do actually. That's somebody was just saying. Bulldog was saying, do you think traditional banks will go away?
What
What
about
about
Salt?
Salt? Yeah,
Yeah, we
exactly.
looked at Salt.
I like Salt. I interviewed the founder of Salt at the conference I was at, and I've been in Salt since their inception. I actually earned Salt because they had a referral program for a little bit, and I didn't even like pump it. I just made one video talking about Salt, threw a referral link out there, and I never put money into Salt. I actually earned my Salt, and yeah, it's been cool. And I think what Salt's doing is long term, and they know that, and they're honest about it, and the partnerships that they're going for are long-term partnerships and long-term goals, and I like what they're doing because I can't go to a bank right now and get a loan based on my Bitcoin portfolio.
Yeah,
They won't let me get a loan to go get a house
sucks.
based on my Blockfolio. But
Yeah.
Salt is giving me that option, and I don't ever see the banks ever giving me that option. It's not within their best interest. It will actually counterproduct their business model. So I'm not worried about the banks competing with Salt. What I'm thinking is successful programs and blockchains like Salt, they're going to be the ones buying up Wells Fargo at the end of the day because banks are insolvent. We had to bail them out once already. We won't have to bail them out when people like, Salt are buying them up. Coinbase is a unicorn, and they will come save the day the next time the banks are in trouble by buying all the bank's debt and owning the banks. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then
He
banks
says
will just
he's.
be done.
You see what Bulldog says? He goes, PayPal should adapt or die. Exactly.
Exactly, dude. And will Amazon accept crypto? I think Amazon may go the ICO route, honestly. I really,
I can tell you,
really
Mike. You
think
want to
they
hear
want.
my?
Yeah, give me your theory.
Wanna
Because,
hear- wanna hear my theory
Amazon
on it?
just launched a browser called Internet. And they do own Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the Litecoin domains and web addresses and hyperlinks and all this other stuff around crypto. So I could see Amazon creating maybe a decentralized exchange where they have direct advertising rights for. So they make revenue off the advertising on the decentralized blockchain, some sort. But what do you think Amazon's up to?
Okay, so if we look at Amazon's past purchases, right? They bought Whole Foods, right? And then they also bought. Who else did they buy?
And they beat Whole Foods' turkey record, by the way. So
Oh,
they don't just
okay, so
buy
they.
things; they become better than them once they
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
them.
So okay, so I think what this guy's gonna do, I think he's gonna buy something. He's gonna implement it into his platform somehow, some way, and I honestly think he's gonna not take over Bitcoin, but I think it's gonna be the place where everybody goes to buy anything with Bitcoin.
Really?
I think he's gonna go Bitcoin heavy. That's what I
Doesn't
think.
Overstock accept Bitcoin? And Overstock's, I
Yeah,
think,
they
bigger
do.
than Amazon, aren't they?
They
In order of sales and distribution.
they do, but and I think that's what he's gonna do. I think he's gonna try to take over Bitcoin.
I
And
think
I
he
mean
wants
it
to
like
make
in,
money through it, though. So how is
yeah,
Amazon going to
exactly.
make money doing it? And I think they're going to kind of try to create their own version of some kind of shapeshift atomic swap scenario where they get a little bit of something through an escrow of some sort. Where, like you said, you're going to buy things, right? Well, not just things, but digital things, right? Like to other tokens, and
Yeah.
tokens may be securities, or they may be like crypto kitties, or they may be a video game or whatever. That code is that cryptocurrencies aren't just currencies; they're so much more than that. So through Amazon, maybe you could buy real estate on a blockchain like Decentraland with a cryptocurrency and stuff like that. I think you're on to something for sure.
I think
They're
I
they're
also
gonna
think
they're gonna
too.
get their hands in it though, without a
I also
doubt.
think too. I also think too, Ken. I also think that if it comes down to it, I can see them, not taking over Bitcoin, but I mean like in a way to where everybody just spends their Bitcoin on Amazon, kind of one of those things. So I can also see that happen, and if that were to happen, I can see Amazon stabilizing Bitcoin.
Well, do you use Purse.io? Because you can buy anything you want on Amazon right now with Purse.io, and you can
Oh, I
save
haven't heard of that.
20%. And it has a referral program, which I have made a pretty penny on because it's the best fucking website ever.
Oh, wow.
So through Purse.io, you can actually take any item or wish list from Amazon. You can demand what percentage you want a discount on. You can go ahead and send your Bitcoin there, and from or any cryptocurrency because they have an integrated shapeshift payment option. And you can go ahead and get maybe 20% off anything or more if you really don't mind waiting a little bit. Because what happens is Bitcoin goes up over time, right? So if you put $25 to buy something and Bitcoin goes up 10% and you ask for
Oh, I
20%
got
off,
you.
the person that actually buys your Bitcoin actually only had to pay 10% more. You know what I mean? So it's not really a 20% thing. It's really interesting how it works out. I like
Yeah,
it. I
that
like
is
it a
pretty
lot.
interesting.
And
So
it's what
it waits till you give it that price that you want to purchase it at. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
It
no.
may
See,
wait
what
till.
happens is I want to buy a refrigerator for
Uh,
$100, and I want 20% off, so it's really like $80. I put $80 worth of Bitcoin up for grabs. Somebody might have $100 Amazon gift card, and they would much rather have Bitcoin. So
Oh, I
they
got
go
you.
on Purse and they buy me my refrigerator for $100. I give them the $80 worth of Bitcoin, and everybody's happy. Imagine though that $80 worth of Bitcoin over the 5-day waiting period goes up about 10 or 20%. Now it's $100. So it's like you didn't lose anything and you still saved at the end of the day for buying it $80, 20%. So it doesn't matter. And that's what I try to explain to my mom and relatives when they don't care about Bitcoin at all. I'm like, all right, you don't have to hold Bitcoin. You go to Purse.io, you can cash out with Coinbase, which means you can buy Bitcoin with your credit card, 3% fee, you get your Bitcoin right then and there. Then you go back to Purse.io, you buy your thing for 20% off. Maybe now because you had to pay a 3% transaction fee, it's only 17%, but you're still going to save over 15% on
Dude,
everything you buy, and you actually never hodled Bitcoin. You just used it all in that one fluid motion.
dude, what the hell? Have you made a video about this?
Yeah, a while back, but you know how
Oh,
Bitcoin is? I feel like
wow.
it's some shit that needs to be rehashed like every other week.
Yeah, I have never heard of this. Holy shit. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I didn't
dude, I
even
love
know.
Purse. Purse was actually one of my first sponsors when I got into crypto. I made a few videos about them, and they actually hooked me up with some crypto to buy some goodies on their website.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm gonna have to look at this. Spend some Bitcoin. No,
Yeah,
I'm
do
not
you
gonna
know what
spend
Open Bazaar is,
it.
right? Yeah, it's like tell me you
Huh?
know about Open Bazaar and Ujo Music and all these other blockchain platforms that use crypto for traditional means, man. There's a lot out there. Bitcoin's much bigger than we give it credit for because all these altcoins are stealing our attention because we want to learn as much as possible. But it almost does benefit to be a Bitcoin maximalist and kind of tune out all those other things. Even though you may go through that whole FOMO thing when you see an altcoin go up 50% and one of your friends has been talking about it for weeks. It's like, yeah, but does your friend know about Purse.io? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No, you're
who knows
right.
more and what is knowledge really worth? Is it worth that $50 or is it worth knowing about Bitcoin's Purse.io? So
No, you're right, dude. It's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, doing a show 5 times a week. It's a lot to cover. So, Yeah, but no, you're exactly right. You're either like know this or know that, or that's why I say, man, it's best to listen to everybody. That's just what I say. Go out there and
Yeah.
listen to everybody.
Exactly. Try to listen to as much as the content being created as possible, and once you feel like you know enough to think for yourself, I tell people to tune out. Stop listening to me.
Yeah,
Once you feel comfortable enough thinking for yourself, I don't know, don't listen to me anymore because I have nothing here for you. I don't want to think for you. I just wanted to get you to a point where you felt comfortable thinking for yourself. And that's it.
exactly.
I want to teach you how to fish. I don't want to fish for you. And I don't want you to always use my fishing method because if you do, you may never better it. Maybe my technique sucks. And if you change the technique, it's going to get better. And I can learn from you maybe one day, young grasshoppers. I think people spend too much time thinking about crypto once they have put the money into it and they have the reoccurring investment, that dollar cost average investment happening where they have it coming out of their account to buy a little bit of crypto every other day or week or month or whatever it may be. Stop looking at the charts, stop looking at the market, stop looking. And you didn't put the money into it to cash out next week, so why are you watching it? Wait till next year or tune back in at the fork, or not the fork, I meant the halvening in 2020. Come back
Yeah,
later. You know what I mean? Like, come back later, y'all. There's not much here left for you. But if you're new to this space, definitely tune in, listen up, absorb as much as possible,
exactly.
get comfortable, and once you're comfortable, zone out. Don't sweat the market when it drops and stuff. I hate when my friends are only in it to make more money and the market comes down and I'm like,
Yeah, they stop watching or seeing
right, I'm like,
anything.
why'd you stop learning? Like,
That's when I double down.
open a book.
It's funny, like when that happened, what was it like in March was really bloody, right? So in March, like we always do like we'll do like Bitcoin year one where we'll cover the whole year of Bitcoin. We'll do a whole like story thing on the podcast and we'll cover Ethereum and we'll call it like Vitalik's Ethereum Dream or whatever, and we'll just talk about the whole thing. And it's funny that during that time no one was doing any content. I would go to YouTube to watch, some of my favorite YouTubers, who else? Omar, like a couple other people. And there was like a little bit of content here. I know you were on a break, but I know there was like other people that were just like, there was like very little content. And I was like, no, this is the time you need to educate people. I was like, educate everybody. Like, this is the time you need to do it. You need to go back in history. There's so much good, like, folklore in crypto that no one knows about. And there's so many good stories. And I try to cover as many of those as I can. Like, yeah, there's so many. I love the storytelling of crypto. That's my favorite thing. It's
I
just the
like when
best, dude.
people call bad news FUD. And I'm like, it's not FUD just because it's bad news. If it's real
Yeah.
news and it's just not good for the economy of Bitcoin, that does not mean it's FUD. FUD means there is a story without evidence. There's rumors that are negative. But if it's a fact, like Binance got kicked out of Japan, that was not FUD, that was fact, that was just a bad news. Some
Yeah.
people get so cultivist in this and they don't want to, listen to the things that could go negative. I mean, Bitcoin's so early, it could have a lot of hiccups in its progress. And yes, in the end, it will, in my opinion, it will be this single world currency used at McDonald's maybe eventually, but until then, it's going to have hiccups. And yeah, I think $20,000 Bitcoin still without a doubt. But till we
Yeah.
get there and it's a stable, that's the support. It's going to have another dip maybe or not. Who knows? But you got to be open-minded to that. There is still bad news. Some governments can have negative influences on the technology, but that doesn't affect it over its long term. That's a very short term effect on its price. And if you're aware of those things, you can trade on that. If something comes out that's bad news, maybe you're quick enough to short it and buy back. But I hodl through it and buy the dips, and I keep accumulating.
That's awesome, dude. That's what you're supposed to do. Like me, like I just collect coins at this point. Like
I'm
it's
trying to
become, I
stack
know,
Bitcoin though, man. I'm done with these altcoins. I swear to
like,
God, I'm just so over them. I'm
yeah.
over it. I'm so
Me, see,
over it.
my problem is just I like to collect them all like Pokemon. So it's like I want to like what I really want to do, Ken? I really want to make like this like cool ass wallet to where you can see like all your coins and you can kind of flip them like a page. Like I
Ooh.
want like a tablet that does that, where I can just go, oh, oh yeah, I might got that coin. I got like, you know what I mean? I want that tangible kind
Make
of.
a Pokédex portfolio.
That's what I mean. I want something like that, so I can be like, oh
Hey,
yeah,
we're gonna have to see if we have developers watching or listening right now. Because if you're a developer and you can develop a Pokédex portfolio like
that's what I
Blockfolio,
want.
can we
That's
do that?
exactly what I want. I want
Yes.
that, and I want to be able to go like this, and then when I go like anywhere, I want to go, oh, what do you take here? Oh, okay, bat. Okay, cool. Boom, and then I just go beep.
I
That's
like
it.
it.
You know what I mean? Like it should be that simple. Like it's not that hard to come up with. Like
We are
that
waiting
dead
for
simple.
more business end point of sale systems to come out. That's what it really comes down to. Like BitPay and Coinbase, they all have the like the business ends plugins, but it's not really perfect for keeping track of your inventory and stuff like that on a point of sales business side. Some point of sale systems do have API plugins for Bitcoin and stuff like that for if you wanted to accept checks or other or and then Bitcoin in your point of sale system, but it's just not that convenient. We need
Somebody
somebody.
says somebody says Pokefolio. That's awesome.
We got to TM
a,
that.
po-
Oh
a
my
poke
goodness.
a portfolio, dude. It needs to just be made. Like it needs to be that simple for mainstream, like American mainstream to adopt it. Like seriously, if it's dead simple, everybody will be accepting coins because why wouldn't you? It's the future. So,
That's
anyways,
true.
it would be cool. And then it needs to be also like needs to be like encrypted. So like if somebody steals it, oh well, they can't get into it because you have the private keys and maybe that lives somewhere else on your body or something. So I don't know. I don't know how it's supposed to be made, but I know it needs to be that dead simple.
So, what are your thoughts on that whole Pornhub and Verge partnership?
Dude, so we covered Verge. Like we covered Verge since it was like 7/10 of a cent. So we have an affinity for Verge like from way back.
The
So
pre McAfee pump love?
yeah, so when we covered that show, we did the show on Verge, and then it got pumped, and then people. That's how this podcast became popular was because everybody made money off of it. They're like, "Oh, Thriller Car knows what's up," and I was like, "No, just got lucky." Just got lucky.
Yo, I
Right
love your
place,
honesty because everybody else would be like, "Yeah, man, I'm a crypto expert. I'm an
right
expert
place,
trader."
right place, right time, and then so sure enough, Tron came right behind it. I don't know if you remember that rally right
Yeah,
behind
for
it,
sure,
and
dude.
then
Tron went from
yeah,
like
and
8 cents to 20 something cents, and I sold that shit
yeah.
publicly.
I told them I was like, dude, Tron's coming up. People bought that, they sold on it, and then so what happened is over the whole time, I still love Verge. It's just one of those coins I can't quit. Like I just love it, and so it wasn't until recently this whole thing. I didn't even tell you the story. What happened to me? So somebody from Reddit on the in the Verge Reddit subreddit, they sent me a direct message telling me look no further. If you want to find out who the partner is, look no further than the Netherlands. So of course, what do? I start researching the Netherlands and I start looking through all this stuff and I find out this place called Aiden, or that everybody thought it was going to be Aiden. That they're the payment processor for like Nike, Airbnb, Uber, like all this stuff. So I immediately thought that I was like, but it didn't make sense as to why Verge would be working with them. Like I didn't understand why would they pick them. So sure enough, I started researching it. So anyway, I did a podcast on Verge that evening. I said I have reason to believe that it's going to be Aiden because of somebody sending me this direct message from Reddit, and the person that was affiliated with that whole group or whatever. Sure enough, dude, I fell for it, hook, line, and
That's
sinker.
crazy.
So sure enough, like I come out the next day on the podcast, and I'm like, guys, this is why I play my shilling disclaimer right before the main topic. So do not listen to me. This is just me doing my own dumb research. Like I know nothing about. I'm not a researcher, but I love to look at these coins, and I like to. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just love diving into this stuff. So sure enough, the next day comes out. I'm like, fucking Pornhub. I was like, God damn. I was like, they got me good. I just started laughing on the show. I was like, well,
I got a
really,
video here I can play. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the audio on your end, but I think the
yeah.
viewers might be able to. I want to see what this video is all about. Give me two
There you go,
minutes
son.
here.
Oh, you haven't seen the
Happy
video for it?
birthday.
Nah.
Oh,
He
it's
said happy
Bud,
birthday and
the
sent
whole
him
Verge
some
coin.
old
Jeez.
Verge
Hush,
coins.
boy. Back
oh,
in my
dude,
day,
that's a great one.
with a single coin, you could buy an electric car. Not
With a
flying
single
one,
coin, you could buy
and
a whole
still have
car.
enough money left over to take your pay to see Hamilton every night.
To take your bay to see
Before
Hamilton
that,
every night, really?
We had to use
One coin
plastic
could get you a car and
cards or
Hamilton
metal
tickets.
coins or filthy slips of paper. What we used to call Skrilla.
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 Skrilla. This
Interesting.
is great.
So, what happened?
Well, a little website came along and everything changed. No big surprise there. It had always been the tipping point.
This
Online
is great.
games, video streaming, VR.
He's showing
This was no
porn.
different when Pornhub started accepting Verge. It was only a matter of time before everyone else caught on. The future had finally come.
The future has finally come.
Dude, so when that came out, like,
And they're
I
just
was like,
throwing Verge off their phone
Yeah.
to a girl on the pole.
when that came out, I was just like,
crap.
damn, man,
Living
fucking
through that must have been
Verge
something
subreddit, I
else.
love them even more now. I was like,
can't
that's what
imagine.
you're supposed to do.
Wait.
You're supposed to manipulate everybody to pump your own fucking coin.
can show
Fuck it. I mean, but one of the things I love the most about Verge, though, honestly, is is Justin Sunaruk. Like that guy, the guy who founded Verge. He just doesn't give a fuck, dude, and I love that about him.
Oh, they
I
even
like
spell it C-U-M.
Yeah.
The future has come.
I love that the founder doesn't care what people thinks about his coin, and that's something to respect, dude. Because I respect when people are honest like that just don't care.
That is
You know?
very interesting. I mean, wow. That video is ridiculous, though.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the video they use to pump their like partnership. Like, no, just
Dude, so
no.
did you even see what they said to like Charlie Lee? Did you see what they told him?
No, where was that at on their Twitter?
Okay, so they basically told him like
I want to try. To
he
find
was
it.
he was like, why did you go with Verge? Quit doing foreplay and come to Litecoin and Bitcoin. Like that's what Charlie told him. And then that's when Pornhub came back at him and they're like, I thought you sold all your Litecoin. it was the greatest, dude. Yeah, but it's funny. I'm still holding my Verge. I'm not gonna sell it. It's one of those things where I'm like, I like collecting it, and I really there's something
Well,
very attractive.
dude, what they did
Verge.
is what really makes me not attracted to that, honestly, because like they pumped the news to pump the price. If it was a silent maneuver like what BAT did with Dow Jones, where basic attention token wasn't saying, hey, we have this thing coming up, oh my god, stay tuned, oh my god, stay tuned, but Verge kind of dick teased all the investors, you know
But
what I
see,
mean?
that's
They built
kinda...
the price was baked into this partnership already before it even happened. So you should sell now and buy in a little bit.
But Ken, that's how they are. That's how that whole Verge community is. That's why I'm saying, like, if you know Verge, if you know the way they are, you knew that was going to happen. Like everybody knew that was going to happen. It's the people that didn't know that wasn't going to happen.
I just feel
You know what
bad
I mean?
for those people.
Yeah. That's why they need to listen to us. Like that's why you need to listen to everybody and not just like stay in a silo of things, because that could cost you.
Yeah.
But I think it was trending. Like people were looking up buy Verge on that day because they were trying to buy Verge, and then they got dumped on.
Now I'm looking here right now, and Token Pay is even saying, like, why are you trying to show Litecoin to be the second coin on Pornhub? Did you even participate on the Verge currency crowdfunding campaign? We donated 66.5 million XVG, or dollars worth of XVG, to make it happen. He said,
I
what
also,
did you pay? Zero? Get in line.
I also said, though, that honestly, it's going to come down, like, if you listen to the podcast that I talk about the next day, I said that it's going to come down to the technology that Verge builds right now, and it's also going to come down to that whole adult entertainment industry. Now, if the adult entertainment industry actually, comes in with Verge and decides to use it as their main currency, then it will work. But if one or the other doesn't meet in the middle, if you have Verge and they're slacking on creating these wallets, or if
Right.
they're not trying to improve their
Right.
their,
Do
their
they even have their own wallet for Android or iOS?
Yeah, so they have their Windows. They're working on. I believe they have a Mac, but it's kind of shaky. And they're working. They have an Android. They're trying to work on an iOS
why
one
did
right
they
now.
spend $75 million on this partnership and not on the development of their coin?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Ken. Because when it comes to this kind of stuff, you know as well as I do in this crypto space, it's pay to play right now, dude. Like it really is. In all honesty, that was the only way they were going to get a partnership. It's pay to play right now,
It's
and that's
not,
just
though.
that's a
Not
Yeah,
in all
well, with-
aspects.
well, for some people it is. Like if you're like a small coin, or like I can't tell you how many people at the summit were like telling me like, well, how much do you charge? And I was like, no, I don't charge anything. Just come on my podcast. Like, or like I heard stories of like, well, this guy just wants to sleep with me. That's the only way he's gonna be able to help me. You know what I mean? Like it's like that. It's sad, but it's true. And most people don't know that. So when they see something like that, they're like, why do they need? Well, it's because they had to pay. They had to pay Pornhub. They're not gonna do it for free.
True, they didn't pay them; they bribed them. There's a difference.
There you go.
But
There you
that's
go,
the
bribe
problem
them.
I have. If they had their own
Well,
wallets
apparently-
and they worked
apparently
and there
to-
was a way to get in, like who
Yeah.
can? Like people are saying, who buys porn? Well, how are these people that want to pay for porn gonna buy XVG?
That's the problem right there. That's why I say it's going to be up to Verge to implement all that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. Either way, it's good for crypto because honestly, if they start accepting Verge, they're going to start accepting Bitcoin and Litecoin. It's just a matter of time. I don't think it's just going to be Verge. I don't see that happening.
No, they're gonna have to. The community
Yeah. that
will demand Bitcoin or Litecoin be listed eventually. I mean, or a privacy coin like Dash, Monero, Pivx,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think that's going to happen eventually. I don't see that. I don't see why that wouldn't happen.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So we can wrap things up here, man. We've been going on for about an hour, bro. Anything else you want to
Jesus.
talk about before we
That's-
we do that? Because time has flown. I looked down and it said an hour and 10 minutes. I'm like, you gotta be kidding
Dang,
me.
I didn't even realize it. See, that's what happens when you start talking about Verge. It just goes, it just goes long. No, I have nothing else to say. I just want to say thanks again for coming on the podcast today. If you guys don't know, Ken is going to be a guest on our Thriller Coin Talk show. That's going to be coming out tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in seeing Ken on Thriller Podcast, check it out tomorrow. I'm going to go right now and edit it, clean it all up, make sure it sounds good. But we do a show 5 days a week. I think we're the best crypto podcast in the game right now. I don't think anybody else is competing with us. I keep telling Ken he needs to make his own podcast because, dude, you have a good voice, so you should do it.
My own podcast.
You should, man. You should.
Welcome to the Bitcoin podcast with Ken Bozak. We're going to talk about ICOs and shilling today.
There you go. Professional. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I think there's just honestly there's just no one out there making a podcast like ours, and if you listen to it, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's other podcasts that you can listen to, but they're just not. I don't think they're nearly as good.
Guys, please make sure you check out Thriller Podcast.
Yeah.
The link below will take you to his Twitter account. You can check out all of his stuff there. Make sure you hit him up with some questions if you have any. Make sure you add him, follow him on Twitter. Stay up to date, and you can do that with the Thriller Podcast. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please pound the thumbs up button. Don't forget to click subscribe. Flick the alert bell right next to subscribe, and have a day.
Buy Bitcoin, save the world.
Yeah, no babies died in that transaction.